98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
And good Thursday morning to you. This is Marti Dane filling in for Mark Bailey. I'm here with Cameron Eisenberg in the studio. Today we have two guests for you. We have, starting the morning off with Lisa Commander. She's going to be in the studio from Hood River County History Museum. And the second half of the program, we have a brand new program at Columbia Gorge Community College. It's an aviation maintenance program, and Bryan DeSpain will be here to share how that works, what's involved, and the collaboration it's taken to get it off the ground. As always, we start the show with a few fun facts and reminders of things that have happened today in history. And we're starting off all the way back in 1903. The Ford Motor Company sold its first car. Of course, it was the Model A, and it sold for $850. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems like that's a lot of money for that long ago. I was thinking that might be even under $100, but nowhere near what we've got today. Also, in 1962, Jackie Robinson became the first black baseball player inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Throughout the week, if you've been listening, then you might know I've been doing a little bit of a space theme on this day in history. And in fact, today we do have one of those. In 1999, Eileen Collins became the first woman to command a U.S. space flight as the Space Shuttle Columbia lifted off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And, might not know, in 1983, an Air Canada 767 ran out of fuel at 41,000 feet. But, thanks to the pilot's experience flying gliders, it made a miraculous landing at Gimli, Manitoba. No injuries to the 61 passengers or the festival goers that were attending a drag racing event at the closed Air Force Base, where Captain Bob Pearson landed the plane, and it was dubbed the Gimli Glider. Also, on this day in history, but nothing to do with space or flight, in 1997, the search for Andrew Cunahan, the suspected killer of Gianni Versace and others, ended as police found his body on a houseboat in Miami Beach from an apparent suicide. Also, a little more recently, in 2003, Massachusetts Attorney General issued a report saying clergy members in the Boston Archdiocese had sexually abused at least 789 children over a period of 6 decades. I thought maybe that was the first case to break, but I did a little bit of research and found that the first one was in 1985, but that lost a little bit of momentum. In 2003, momentum did take off, and over the next 2 decades, the Catholic Church has spent over $5 billion in the United States alone. Their major settlements exceeded $3 billion, and a report from Georgetown University details where that money has gone. 3/4 of it has gone to the victims, 17% to attorneys, and 6% to medical, psychological support for the alleged abusers. As time moves on, today is Gorgeous Grandma Day. It's hot enough for you day, and for whatever reason, I think we all remember yada yada yada. No, okay, we don't all remember that, but it is in fact yada 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 day. Time marches forward, and we have already in the studio Lisa Commander from the Hood River History Museum, and we will be back to speak with her in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Doug Stepina with the City of Hood River. As our community plans for the future, we're taking a close look at 2 important challenges. In an emergency, our police facility must remain operational even after a major earthquake or fire. Today, it does not meet modern seismic or backup power standards. At the same time, housing shortages continue to put pressure on the workforce that keeps our community running. This month, the City Council is considering whether to refer 2 general obligation bonds to voters this November to address these needs. Visit hoodriver.gov/bond to learn more and stay informed.
The nominations are in and finalists have moved to the voting round for Best of the Gorge 2026. Visit bestofthegorge.com and vote for your favorites. Find a full list of campaign categories and finalist names to select from at bestofthegorge.com. Vote for as many as you want, once a day, every day. It's easy and you'll help your favorites win the title of Best of the Gorge 2026. Voting ends July 29th, so vote today at bestofthegorge.com.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we are back in the studio with Lisa Commander. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
It's good to see you. And it's always fun. I did this, Today in History thing, and I look back at what's happening, but that's kind of like the world and what's going on out in the bigger picture. What you live in is a lot of what's happened here and what really has impacted not only people who still live here, but people who come and want to know what's our area about. And so tell us a little bit about your job and what you're doing at the Hood River County History Museum.
Well, we've got some great things going on this summer here at the History Museum. One of my favorite events is our weekly history walk that takes place in downtown Hood River. So we start out Saturdays at 9:30, and the group meets at the Lightwell Hotel downtown because it does have a historic connection with lots of things that have happened in Hood River. So the walk takes place for about 90 minutes, and you can purchase tickets online at www.hoodriverhistorymuseum.org. And again, those are every Saturday. And your ticket also includes admission to the museum. So when the museum opens at 11 o'clock, you can come on over and walk through the museum. But the history walk takes you through town. Our guides will give you background on lots of the old buildings and events that have taken place in downtown Hood River. So that's a fun thing to do.
No kidding. I hear about that every year, and I think, I'm going to do it. And I have yet to do it. So I need to make sure and get on that tour.
That's right. It's every Saturday through the first week in September, so you've still got time.
I know. There's plenty of time. Okay. And then also, who are the people that take you on the tours?
Well, these are 3 local folks, tour guides that have lived here most of their lives, and so they've got all kinds of stories and things to share with people, and they're just it's a great team to work with. So you'll be in good hands if you go on a walk with them. Yeah,
I've been here for about 30 years. And so I feel like I'm still kind of getting to know the place.
Oh yeah, you're still local, still local.
But every once in a while, putting a story to a building, or when you see changes happening, you think, well, why did that go that way? It's always nice to know just what was going on.
Oh yeah, all that trivia appeals to people. It's fun to learn about. That's why I'm a historian. I love that stuff.
That's so fun. Okay, you've got a few things to tell me about. So historic walking tour is one of them. There's also a bird walk.
So our bird walks, that evolved out of my work, my previous work at the Discovery Center in the Dalles. I worked with the raptor program there, and so one of the raptor educators and I developed a bird walk for the History Museum because we were right on, at the confluence of the Hood River and the Columbia, and lots of birds down there. So the History Walk, we started last summer, and then we're doing it again. There's one more left this year in August, and it's about an hour long. We start out at 9 o'clock right at the History Museum. We walk across the pedestrian bridge and take a look at, there are all kinds of birds you can see there. We have binoculars for our guests in case they didn't bring any, and then we also have a handout that shows all of the, well, actually not all of the birds, but most of the birds you might see along the walk there. And so we just walk down to the spit area, and see what we can see. And every time it's a different group of birds, but there's about a dozen or so that you can see early in the morning. And we have a volunteer who leads that bird walk. And yeah, there's one more left for the summer.
Okay. So if you get a chance to get out there. Also, I just want to do a follow-up on, you used to be with the Raptor program.
Yes.
And I am fascinated by the raptors, especially just the variety we have in the Columbia River Gorge. I spent a few years in Alaska, and bald eagles got all the attention up there.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they're cool. I agree. However, there are some more. And so do we get those in
So we have
Hood
red-tailed
River?
hawks, we have osprey, we've got all kinds of birds. I wish I had my list in front of me as reference. But yeah, we've got, like I said, most walks see at least a dozen different birds out there. There's mergansers, and this last time they saw Canadian geese, and of course you're going to see little sparrows. And the only thing that I wish we could see on a walk would be an owl. I love owls. I worked with, if anyone's been out to the Discovery Center, they might be familiar with Junior the owl. He was my favorite to work with, but
Is Junior little?
Great horned owl. No,
Not
he's a
little.
big guy. Yeah, big guy. Yeah.
Where do you find the owls?
Well, you will hear them in the late afternoon, early evening, dusk, wherever you are.
Okay.
You're usually not going to see them out in the daytime, not flying anyway. They tend to kind of hang out in the trees, but yeah, not something we see on the bird walk.
Okay, so I'm curious, if I went into the History Museum, could I get a list of birds that are on that walk, or something so almost like a little scavenger hunt, or
Oh yeah, we'd be happy to share our little handout with you. Yeah,
right
that
on.
shows you all the ones that are in the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do spend a lot of time I know a lot of people do out on the walking trail, and
yeah, it's busy out there all the time. Every time you walk out the front door of the museum, there's several people going by, and with kids and bikes and dogs, and yeah, we're in it's a very busy corner down there on the waterfront.
No kidding. That's got to be kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also have it's called the Canvas of Calm.
Yeah,
We can all use a little calmness right now, but what is this?
So I love the alliteration. Those are kind of my favorite titles to come up with. And this is a collaboration with local artist Emily Martin. And again, this is the second summer we've offered this program. We've got one more left on August 5th. And the idea is that you would have some time to reflect, enjoy a little bit of nature that's just right outside the museum door. This event takes place at the museum. And so a little time of reflection, enjoy the outdoors, and then come into the museum and work on a watercolor painting.
What?
And so we have an outline that Emily created just for the museum of an image that you'd see right outside our door of the riverfront, the marina, the area right there. And you come in, and during your time with us, you will complete a beautiful watercolor painting to take home.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
So, yeah, it's a very relaxing. We've had a great turnout. And, again, the bird walks and the Canvas of Calm tickets for those events can be purchased on our website, or come into the museum, and we'll be happy to set you up with a ticket.
Okay, and some of those you said there's only like one left. So what are the dates?
So the bird walks, we have one left on August 14th.
Okay.
And that's a Friday. That'll be from 9 to 10 a.m. And then the Canvas of Calm is August 6th. And I believe that's a Thursday.
Okay.
I have to double check. So the Canvas of Calm is from 10 to 12, and that's at the museum. And as I mentioned, the history walks are on Saturdays, and those start at 9:30 and go until 11.
Okay. And we have a new exhibition opening. It's actually opening October 2nd. So this is something to look forward to, but it's going to be there until the end of the year, called Talk Tech to Me. So a little bit of alliteration on that. I think I know the source of that one. Tell me about that one.
So this is a collaboration with the Gorge Technology Alliance and the people involved with that. We wanted to bring the story of avionics here in the Gorge to the museum. And so, everything, while there are, I think, somewhere upwards of 200 plus companies that have started as a result of the companies coming here with related to drone manufacturing and all of the little offshoots of that. And so we are going to feature kind of the history of that and talk about the influence that In Situ has had in the area, in the drawing in other companies that are here now creating all the bits and pieces that go into drones and other avionics equipment. Yeah. And so we're going to have some hands-on things, and it's going to be a great new exhibition.
I'm fascinated by the research and discovery process to put something like that together. And every once in a while out on the beach, I'll be doing some kind of a wind sport, and there'll be some talk about who invented this sport. Like, was it this, was it this, was it that? And I imagine with the avionics, there's a little bit of that too, kind of who came first and whose job was really the pivotal one, when in reality, it's probably not so simple.
Well, what fascinates me is this area has, the Gorge has drawn people with a very creative and entrepreneurial spirit. And so I find it fascinating that the people that come here have a very different mindset than folks who live in other areas. I mean, this really draws not only a creative spirit, but also people who enjoy the great outdoors, which is, what draws people here. And so it is kind of a chicken and egg thing. What brought them here first, right? Did they come here for the wind sports, or did they come here because they know other people are here that have that creative sense? So it's a little bit of both. And it's interesting to hear the stories of folks who came here because they either wanted to start a business and they wanted the small town life that the Gorge offers, or they came here because they were in a related field to something else that was going on in the area. And there's a lot of crossover between folks who are involved with windsurfing and the folks who are in the avionics. So it's going to be a really fascinating exhibition that we have.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes the conversation around wind can be extremely technical, depending upon the average person you walk by on the sidewalk. And all of the elements that went into creating the Gorge have also created this very special place that we can do so many things that you can't do.
And it has a tremendous history.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
Well, let's see. My parents actually grew up in the Dalles.
Okay.
So when they finished high school, got married, they moved to Alaska. So I ended up growing up in Alaska, but I spent my summers in the Dalles. And so I tell people that, I've kind of been grandfathered in as a local.
No
because
kidding.
While I didn't technically grow up here, I spent many summers here growing up. And I went to college in Spokane, lived in the Seattle area. So I've been here.
Right on.
Oh, yeah, a long time.
Curiosity is just getting the best of me. But where in Alaska did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town called Valdez.
Ooh, that is a beautiful place.
It's called the Little Switzerland of Alaska.
It's absolutely phenomenal.
And I worked in the museum there while I was going to college. So that's where I first got my introduction to museum life.
There's a little bit of destiny taking a hand in this one.
Yes.
Right on. Lisa, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. Is there anything else that I have missed you want to touch on before we wrap this up?
Well, before we go, I just want to mention that we still have La Quinceañera, Una Tradición Bonita, which is our current temporary exhibition, and that features the quinceañera tradition of the 15th birthday of our Latino community, and we are very proud to host that. The show features dresses that have been worn by local Latina women, and it's a great exhibition.
I'm looking at a picture of just two of them, and they're gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful dresses.
Wow.
It's a fabulous exhibition, and come and learn all about the quinceañera tradition at the History Museum.
And how long is that show open?
And this will be here through mid-September, and we are open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
So if you are thinking about what to do, and it's going to be a beautiful day to get outside again, right?
Yes, come on down to the
today's
museum.
a nice one. Get down to the museum, check it out, find out what is on deck as well as what's been there, learn more about your area, and, say hi to Lisa. She's great.
Yeah, come see us.
Thank you for being with us. Lisa Commander from the History Museum of Hood River County. Coming up in the second half of our program, I have Bryan DeSpain from Columbia Gorge Community College, and we'll be back after this.
The Farm City Pro Rodeo has raised the bar again. $60,000 in added money per event, solidifying Hermiston's place as a top 15 paying rodeo in the PRCA. New this year, Saturday night's performance will be a true championship round, guaranteeing you get to see the best of the best in one place on one night. Tickets go on sale June 1st, and they will go fast. Visit FarmCityProRodeo.com for tickets and more information. Experience the action. Feel the history of the Farm City Pro Rodeo, August 12th through the 15th.
Attention hunters, if you harvest a deer or elk, have your harvest tested for chronic wasting disease. Help us prevent this deadly wildlife disease from entering Oregon. It's untreatable and always fatal to deer and elk. Get your harvest tested at an ODFW office, check station, meat processor, or taxidermist. Learn more about chronic wasting disease and getting your harvest tested at myodfw.com. That's myodfw.com.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the Gorge's local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
Hello, this is Cameron Eisenberg. I'm filling in for Mark Bailey, and I've got the news. The Oregon Board of Forestry has approved a new long-term management plan for 640,000 acres of western Oregon state forest, aiming to better protect wildlife habitat, improve air and water quality, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions while continuing to support the state's timber industry. The board voted 5 to 2 Wednesday to adopt the plan, which will guide forest management in 14 counties beginning July 1st, 2027. State officials say the plan balances economic and environmental priorities, although timber production is expected to decline by about 20% over the coming decades. The Port of Hood River says its purchase and sale agreement with Amazon has officially expired after the company did not notify the port by the July 20th deadline that it intended to move forward with buying approximately 11 acres in the Lower Hannell Mill Industrial Park for a proposed last-mile distribution facility. The Port Commission will consider returning the property to the market while exploring future economic development opportunities that support family wage jobs and long-term growth, emphasizing that the decision reflects the expiration of the agreement rather than the merits of Amazon's proposal. Clackamas County Sheriff Angela Brandenburg announced Wednesday that she is retiring effective Monday, ending a 35-year career with the Sheriff's Office after serving as the county's elected sheriff since 2021. In a message to employees, Brandenburg said she is stepping down to give potential successors time to file for this fall's election, with Under Sheriff Jesse Ashby set to serve as acting sheriff. Oregon is joining a coalition of 18 states and the District of Columbia in a lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's halt of new onshore wind projects, arguing the federal government has unlawfully stalled routine national security reviews needed for construction. State Attorney General says the slowdown has left more than 155 wind projects nationwide in limbo, while the Defense Department says it is still evaluating proposals as it works to balance renewable energy development with military readiness. President Donald Trump has long opposed expanding wind energy and has pledged to stop new windmill construction in the United States. Looking at the weather, it is 68 degrees right now in Hood River. It is 71 degrees in the Dalles. It is 65 degrees in Stevenson. Mid-Columbia Today will be back shortly.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpine Automotive. You know those tall Sprinter vans that look like they could secretly double as apartments? Yeah, we work on those, and we know them really well. Whether it's your adventure rig, work van, or mystery mobile full of camping gear and snacks from 2022, we've got you covered. We're now just 10 minutes up the hill in our great new location in Hood River. Come see us. From Mercedes and Ford, big rigs to Sprinters, no jobs too big or small. At Del Carpine, we work on them all. Family owned and locally trusted.
At the Springs at Mill Creek Assisted Living Community, we believe in living with purpose and enjoying life to its fullest. Nestled at 1201 West 10th Street, The Dalles, our community offers more than just a place to stay. Imagine dining on your schedule from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., choosing your meals from a full menu that suits your taste and lifestyle. Here, every day is an opportunity to thrive, connect, and embrace the joys of life. Discover a vibrant community where you decide how to spend your day. Visit the Springs at Mill Creek because your best life is waiting.
Did you know Skyline Health in White Salmon has its very own sports medicine doc superstar? That's right, Dr. Ryan Petering trained at OHSU, cared for professional Nike athletes, and even spent more than 15 years teaching other doctors how it's done. From sporting injuries to arthritis, he's here to help you move better, feel stronger, and keep doing the things you love. Want to live life to its fullest? Step right up and visit myskylinehealth.org. Skyline Health, world-class care right here at home.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we're back with Marti Dane in the studio with our second guest of the day. His name is Bryan DeSpain with Columbia Gorge Community College. He's the Aviation Maintenance Program Instructor. Good morning, Bryan.
Good morning, Marty.
It's been nice. Just off air for a second, we were talking a little bit about your history with avionics and where you've been in the world, and somehow you've landed in the Gorge, and we are so lucky to have you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You're running a program that is pretty unique to our area. It's not brand new, but tell us a little bit about the Aviation Maintenance Program.
So aviation maintenance is, it's turning wrenches on aircraft. A little bit different than automotive maintenance because, we just don't have a shoulder to pull over on when we're flying. So highly regulated, very precise, and it takes an individual that's really into that intricate and understanding that whole picture of the importance and the need to make it right the first time, make it right every time. And I've been doing it for a little over 40 years. My personal history was in high school. I was not a motorhead. I didn't get into building cars and all that. That wasn't my thing. I was actually in choirs and band, football, ran field and track. And but in the summertime, I was building houses. And I thought that's what I was going to be. In fact, I even went to the university as a civil engineer major. That lasted 1 year.
Oh, no.
Because, college wasn't my thing. It just wasn't where I needed to go. So I went back to home building, and I advanced into supervision with home building. This is all in Colorado, where I grew up. And somewhere along the line, I looked into the sky, seeing airplanes fly, and went, how does that happen? And found this place called Colorado Aerotech, stopped in, talked to the recruiter, and decided that was what I wanted to do, maybe. So 18 months later, I tested for my FAA airframe and power plant license, and in 1986, I started working on airplanes, anywhere from the C-5A Galaxy, the C-130 transporter, military transport aircraft, and then I got involved with commercial aviation, which was probably the best move that I made, and My family, we started out in Atlanta with that and ended up in Portland, Oregon. Got a little claustrophobic in the suburban areas there, and ended up moving out here to the Gorge. I commuted back and forth to PDX for 28 years or so.
Wow.
And every day, I had a little Geo Metro with lots of miles on it. It's still going.
Great little cars.
And well, that's kind of the story. It wasn't just Portland. I based out of Salt Lake for a couple of years, out of Seattle for the last couple of years of my career. Atlanta, of course, where I got started with most of it. But I've also worked in Frankfurt, Germany, London, England, Nagoya, and Narita, Japan, all on temporary assignments. And so I've gotten to see the world. One of the benefits of working for a major airline, as I did, I continue to fly anywhere I want to go for nothing.
That has got to be one of the funnest things.
Yeah, well, it's standby, but it's okay.
But still, I mean, you get to work on them, you get to spend time with them. You must actually like the machinery and the things that you're working with to some degree.
I absolutely love it. It's just, it never gets old.
Really?
The technology in aviation is constantly advancing. Right now we have a lot of movement in the drones, and that has actually increased in size to where we have eVTOL, that's electric vertical takeoff and landing, where we have shuttles. We talk about Waymo and all that, the driverless cars on the road. Well, what about pilotless drones that'll pick you up off of a rooftop and drop you off on another rooftop?
I mean, maybe.
Technology's there. Certification is in the process.
You had me for a minute there, but the idea of being literally picked up off of a rooftop and dropped onto another one, I might take a little bit of persuading.
Well, they do it with helicopters and pilots now, and
true.
The technology is advancing to a point.
Yeah.
And so it never gets old. We need mechanics to take care of and maintain all of those things. And it needs to be a certified mechanic that goes through rigorous training, constant training, upgrading their skills. And somebody that's interested and curious and that's all it takes. And like I said, I didn't start out as a motorhead in high school.
Right.
I was putting sticks together, building houses, and enjoying it. And I can still do that. It's a matter of building skills and building on the skills that you have, and nobody ever gets to take those away from you.
Well, I can certainly see why they sent you to talk today, because this is inspiring. I can tell that you care about what you're doing.
I love it.
And that, you love your work. It has got to be one of the most detail-oriented
Yes, it is.
jobs. Like, as you said at the beginning, there's no shoulder to pull off on and check things out. And I know I've been in a few planes, one recently, where we were about 20, 25 minutes late for takeoff. And as we were starting to roll away from the gate, all the interior lights and the HVAC system just shut off. Just everything. Just
very disconcerting.
Very disconcerting. We actually rolled forward back to the gate. The pilot came on, told us that he was going to get the mechanics out to check it out. And there is a sense of comfort there. It's like we're not going to leave something up to chance, but once the mechanics actually say, you're good to go, I do feel like we're good to go.
Well, when we think about it, the mechanic is signing every time that they do any work on an aircraft, changing a light bulb, changing a tire, just checking the tire pressure, or verifying that the autopilot is functioning properly. They sign their name to that, and not only their name, but their license number. And if there's anything that goes wrong, there's a history to track. So any investigation will track every mechanic that's touched that aircraft for years and years, from the life of the aircraft, really.
Yeah.
So, and no pilot, whether a little 150 or a 747, that pilot does not get to fly that airplane until a mechanic has signed off on it and states that it is airworthy. So there's a lot of responsibility there on the mechanic's shoulders. And so, they don't take it lightly. It's a serious business.
And that log, it's like, is it a maintenance log or something that goes with the plane?
Yes.
Because this isn't a little bit of a digression, but I did learn from a television show that was about someone who was repossessing airplanes. And he would go in and sometimes in the middle of the night or whatever, find a plane that needed to be repossessed and then fly it out. But one of the most important things he had to do was make sure to get that log.
Yes.
Because without it, the plane had very little value.
That's very true. It's not considered airworthy unless it has maintenance records available to it. And that all has to be recreated. If they're ever lost or burned up in a fire or something like that, those logs have to be recreated as best as they can before they can certify that aircraft as airworthy.
Wow.
Sometimes it simply takes what we call an annual inspection for a smaller airplane, and they inspect everything. For a large commercial jet, well, that kind of an inspection can take months to accomplish. So keeping those logs makes it a lot easier to keep those aircraft flying in a safe and compliant manner.
No kidding. So we need more people doing this because I'm sure there's attrition. As you said, you did it for about, more than 40 years.
Yeah.
And, with all due respect, at some point, someone probably ought to turn it over to a younger generation, right? And so getting new people into it and helping them gain the experience and be trained well is not only important, it's really kind of necessary.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get into the teaching until I actually retired from Delta Airlines after 32 years with Delta. With COVID and a few other things, they offered a wonderful little package, but I was only 57 years old. So my wife says, you need to go find something to do, get out from under the foot. So off I was. So I tried truck driving for a little while, actually, and then I got a call from the college. Asked me if I knew anybody that might be interested in teaching aviation maintenance. My initial response was, I'm not a teacher. I don't know anybody that might be interested. But then I thought about it a little more. And I thought, well, that sounds like a challenge, that's my nature. Give me a challenge and I'll see if I can't surmount it.
I don't know if you've heard since then, but I got a little secret for you. I kind of think you might be a teacher, Bryan.
It's kind of fun. I'm having probably a little more fun than I've ever had because I've got a captive audience.
Yeah.
And I've got 40 years of stories to tell. And somewhere in there we learn every aviation maintenance. So we're having a lot of fun with it, I think. My graduates this is one of the most joyful things out of the whole thing is to see a graduate start from don't even know how to work a ratchet wrench to not only learning that, but learning where and when and the regulations involved with it, getting out there, stepping outside of their comfort zone, taking those exams with the FAA to get that license, and then they're stepping into a financially secure career. They're starting out at $35 an hour, plus or minus, and inside of 6 years, most union contractors stop topping them out into six figures. So, and it's solid. We're looking at a shortfall right now of about 10% of the need. We're short right now today. And wow. Even with the increased enrollment in schools and getting the information out there for people to look into this as a career, we're looking at by 2035 still about 7% short. And that's just in the commercial aviation areas. That doesn't even account for the smaller general aviation areas. So
wow.
The security is there for generations.
So I know you mentioned that's just in the commercial aviation and not accounting for like the private airlines. And so
the general aviation, the smaller prop jets that we see here in Hood River.
Industry-wise, are those growing? Because I feel like I've seen more, even as you're going into PDX, there are other airport. I don't know what to call them. I'm struggling.
That one's Troutdale.
No, not in Troutdale. I mean, actually on the road to the airport itself, like literally between IKEA and the airport.
Okay.
What are those called? Those little smaller airline airports?
Yeah, so those sometimes we refer to them as fixed space operators, FBOs, but we're also looking at business carriers. Breeze is one that went from a little corporate carrier. Now they're flying a little international. They're based out of Provo, Utah, actually. What we have down here is Atlantic. Atlantic is a franchise that needs mechanics. They do mostly corporate jet, business jet level, on down into some of the smaller general aviation aircraft. But they do the maintenance, and then they do charter flights and air taxi services, and even some scheduled flights.
Yeah. I think it's kind of fascinating how industries expand, and we don't necessarily hear about it or think about it. But, I mean, when I think about an airline maintenance tech, I think, well, you know, the big ones. Would you work for Delta, American, JetBlue? But that's just the very
that's like the icing.
shell.
Yeah, that's the icing. And honestly, the bigger the jet, the bigger the plane, the bigger the paycheck. But the camaraderie and the personal relationships that you can build on a small airport working on Joe Smith's Cessna 172,
right.
And you build that personal relationship, maybe even get a little free flying time to build up your own hours as a private pilot, or whatever goals you have there. It can still be quite rewarding. The paycheck may not be $100,000 a year. It may only be $70,000 a year, but it's still a solid, and cost of living is usually a little less around small airports and stuff like that. So there's such a wide range, and the key is to get that FAA airframe and power plant license, that mechanics license with those two ratings. There's additional ratings in the works for avionics, and perhaps one day down the road will be for drones and such things. But right now, your airframe and your power plant rating, you work on all of those things, from drones all the way up to 747s.
Okay.
And of course, you're going to get specialized in the particular aircraft that you're working on.
Yeah, I can imagine that anybody who gets into the program starts learning about things they've never even realized they were interested in, and you can go lots of directions once you're in the door.
There's so many ways to go.
And it's not necessarily a multi-year commitment. So from my understanding, students can actually be prepared to take their FAA exams within 18 months?
18 months is all it takes. That's 2 years if you go to any other school in Oregon or Washington. Not only 2 years, but that's 2 more terms, which is 2 more terms of tuition, 2 more terms of housing, 2 more terms of books. Anyway, it gets more expensive. So we developed this program to make it as quick and as painless as possible. You can cash flow it if you have any kind of energy at all. But yeah, you are in class from 25 to 35 hours a week. You got lecture and you got lab. We kind of try to keep it mixed up, keep it interesting. We go through the summer, so we start in the fall. In fact, September 21st is the first day of fall term. That's when we start our very next cohort of students. You'll stay with that cohort of students through your entire 18-month program. You'll get 2 instructors, myself or Tyson Aldrich. You'll get both of us through part of it. One will carry you through the general and the airframe, and the other will carry you through airframe and power plant. However, we work that out. But so we try not to get too stale.
Yeah, no, I
give you different stories, different experiences.
I believe you. Okay, I have a couple questions. One is, do you have openings for this year?
Absolutely.
You do?
But,
okay.
But don't sit around and wait until September 10th to think that you're going to get in and ready to go on the 21st. Because
You heard that, guys, right?
Get in there right now. Get hold of cgcc.edu. Talk to Ryan Brusco. He is our advisor for our program and the other CTE programs. Letty Brechterfield is our recruiter, so she's a good contact also.
Okay.
Right there on the website, you can get hold of them there. And they can step you through everything you need to do to get started.
And I assume that you need at least your GED or high school diploma.
High school
to get
diploma or GED. Need to read, write, and speak English, understand English. those are requirements from the FAA. That's nothing that the schools dropped in on us or anything.
Right.
That's an FAA requirement.
Okay. And then I've just got a couple minutes left, and so I know you could probably talk about this for a while,
Forever.
but just for a few minutes. You've got a new training facility that's in the works, or it's being dedicated. Tell me what's going on with the new place.
Yeah, so back in June of 2021 is when the college got hold of me. It took me about 18 months to get the FAA certification, and we started our program September of 22, and that's when we got started. And so each year we turn out a new host of, and we're building a hangar at Columbia Gorge Regional Airport over in Dallesport, and that's going to double our capacity. It's going to increase our classrooms to 50 versus the 15 squeeze tight we got right now, and the hangar space, which is way overcrowded right now, will be double. So we're excited.
Amazing. I got to tell you, Bryan, when you first came in, I thought I'm going to learn some things about this. And now I'm thinking maybe retirement's not so fun after all. Kind of get out there and see the world and start something new. But maybe not for me. If other people are interested, there's lots of information online. And I want to say thank you for coming in. You took us right up to the edge. I'm going to have to go to commercial break in just a second. Bryan DeSpain, Columbia Gorge Community College, thank you for being here.
Come join us real soon.
Will do. We'll be right back.
It's easy to take simple conveniences for granted. Ever feel overwhelmed while running kids to sports practice, the store, and doctor's appointments? What if you didn't have transportation? Many of our Gorge neighbors face this challenge every day, and now you can help with Bicoastal Media's Wheels of Hope, presented by C.H. Ernest Motors. This fall, we'll hand over the keys to a 2015 Nissan Sentra. If you know of a local family that has fallen on hard times and needs a vehicle, you can help by nominating them. Nominate a vehicle-challenged family today at gorgeradio.com. Make a difference in the lives of others in our community. Wheels of Hope also supported by A&E Plumbing, Heating and Air, Walmart of the Gorge, Pioneer Appliance, Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation, Skyline Health, Sinclair, WAGAP, Bimart, and Pee-wee's Auto Detail. Visit gorgeradio.com to see how you can make a difference with Wheels of Hope.
The nominations are in and finalists have moved to the voting round for Best of the Gorge 2026. Visit bestofthegorge.com and vote for your favorites. Find a full list of campaign categories and finalist names to select from at bestofthegorge.com. Vote for as many as you want, once a day, every day. It's easy and you'll help your favorites win the title of Best of the Gorge 2026. Voting ends July 29th, so vote today at bestofthegorge.com.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the Gorge's local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
And we're back in the studio with wrapping up the program a little bit. On the program tomorrow, Brenda Massey, Quality Improvement Coordinator and Child Care Partners, headquartered at Columbia Gorge Community College. She's going to be sharing some information with us on her program, as well as Lindsay McClure with the Hood River County Energy Council. What's coming up in our community with home energy efficiency? I like to help out the people who've been on the program this week and remind you that tonight at the Ruins is a Hood River County Education Foundation fundraiser. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, get out and do that now. If you're looking for a new career, it sounds to me like you ought to go to Columbia Gorge Community College and check out the Aviation Maintenance program. But if you're already looking for other things to do, then coming up all of this next several days is Hood River County Fair. Lots of evening entertainment as well as arts and crafts and things to enjoy. We have another fundraiser, the Gorge Ice Rink fundraiser and concert on July 27th. That's going to feature live music with 10:30, a huge silent auction, local beer, wine, and cider, and tickets for that are $20. If you haven't heard about that program, you might want to look into it. People who've always wondered what it would be like to actually have an ice rink in the Gorge for skating, for hockey, for curling. To be honest, never tried it. Kind of thought it'd be interesting, but we'll see. We have one short break, and we'll be back to wrap up the show.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive.
And we're back. I've got a couple of things to remind you about, just in case you're looking for things to do with your kids. There's the Hood River Library Teen Bingo Party. That's coming up on Saturday at 3 p.m. Middle and high schoolers are welcome. And also the Fairy Costume Ball. It's a fundraiser for the Rockford Grange. That's coming up on Saturday. It's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's music, prizes, treats, a Grange Fairy Parade, fairy terrariums, face painting, cookie decorating, and more. Adults are $17 in advance and $20 at the door. But children 16 and under are only $5. So go to rockfordgrange.net for more information on that. I hope that you have a really lovely evening, afternoon, whatever. Oh, it's the day that's coming up because this is Mid-Columbia Today. For me, for some reason, it always feels a little bit later when I walk out the door. So have a great day. This is Marti Dane and Cameron Eisenberg. We'll see you tomorrow.
Mid-Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.